welcome back to my channel. In this video, we'll be building a simple application, which is a simple button counter, right? If you click on increment, the number will increase, and if you click on decrement, the number will decrease, right? So this is a simple application, but it also helps you understand everything we have learned so far, right? So let's get started. Now this is a plain window, right? First of all, let's try to build the background first, right? The background for this entire application, right? So obviously for that we need a rectangle to fill the background, right? Now fill parent. Now as you've seen, this has a gradient color. If you can observe, this left part is violet and the right part is pinkish, right? So for that we have a property of rectangle called gradient, and for this we can give a component called gradient. Now this gradient is a bit complex. Like if you click on it and press F1 on your keyboard, just a minute. Yeah, this key, this is the F1 key. If you can observe it, it's on the top left, like beside the escape. Like if you click on F1, right? So if you click on gradient and then press F1, you can see the help section, right? In the help section you can see that they have provided a very basic example for rectangle. Like I hope it's visible to you guys. Like just a minute. Yeah, see, this is a very basic example they have provided, right? So you can just copy paste this code. Just a minute. Yeah, this one. So if you can just copy paste all of this code and test it out. Now I have already done it for some specific colors I need. There is nothing much to explain in this, right? This gradient stop, it's nothing but it asks for a position, and let me use a whiteboard to clarify, right? So suppose this is the rectangle, right? What the position defines is starting from 0 up till this position, what color needs to be filled, right? Again, starting from this to the next position where you want to stop, what color needs to be filled? Again, starting from this position to the next position or the end, which color needs to be filled, right? So from 0th position we need this color, up till 0.5th position we need this color, and up till the first position, these are numeric values from 0 to 1. So let's say this is 0.3, this is 0.6, right? So from 0, let's say I need red, so up to 0.3 it will be red. Again, let's say from 0.3 to 0.6 I need blue, so this part will be blue, and so on, right? So this is nothing but gradient, and this is orientation. Now what is horizontal? uh, let's say this is a rectangle. I want the colors to be filled from left to right, then this is horizontal. And if I want the colors to be filled from top to bottom, it will be gradient dot vertical, right? So as you can see in this image, the colors are filled from left to right. That's why I used horizontal, right? This is a pretty complex thing, that's why I think just being able to use it is more than enough. Let's try running it once, right? There's no need to get into the complications, right? Also, Qt's gradient is not that powerful. Like if you want to build more radial or curved gradient, you should use an image instead. Like set the background to be an image, the image can be generated with the gradient which you prefer, right? Now this is our basic application and we want to build this one, right? So for now let's try to build the top label, right? The simple button counter. Let's try to build that one, right? Obviously now after this, we'll set a label for the text. Now let's see this text, right? A simple button counter has a box around it, right? If you can see clearly, there is a very opaque box around it, which is called a glass morphism. Like there is a glass morphic effect. So obviously we don't need only a simple label, we need a rectangle to give some background, and inside that there will be a label, right? Now let's position this rectangle. As you can see, it's some position from the top, right? So it will be anchors dot horizontal center, obviously because it's centered horizontally, like if you're getting it. So it will be parent dot horizontal center. By the way, I've taught all of these anchor properties in my previous videos. Like if you are having trouble in like using anchors, you can like visit my videos again, right? And I'll give some top margin, let's say 40. And after that, let's give it some color. Now as you can see, it's whitish in color with some opacity, right? So for that color I'll be using qt.rgba. Now what's rgba? It's red, green, blue, and the fourth parameter is opacity. So for white it's 255 for everything, and for opacity I'll say 0.2. Like if you directly give 0, like if you give 1, it will be fully white. If you give 0, then it will be fully transparent, right? Let's see now. Just a minute. Yeah, I also have to give some width and height. Like, let's first complete it and then I'll show you. Like, now for the label, I need some text. First, let's see what the text should be. It will be a simple button counter. This will be a simple button counter. Now, let's give the label an ID. Let's say heading label. Now, the color of the text should be white. So I'll say white, or you can use the hex code for FFF, which stands for white, right? Now after this, like if you can see, this is capitalized, right? And also this is a large font. So I'll increase the font size. I'll say font dot point size of let's say 25, and font dot bold true. So it will be bold and of size 25, right? Let's first see if the text appears. Yeah. Just because I did not provide the width and height, like this is showing like this. But yeah, I'll fix it. Just a minute. I'll first center it with respect to the rectangle, and let's keep it like as it is, right? After this, the rectangle needs a width and height, right? If you don't give a width and a height, the rectangle will say, hey, I don't have a width, I don't have a height, so I am not visible, right? I will not occupy any space. Like for example, if this is the window, and if you want the rectangle to be like this, you need some width, you need some height, otherwise it will appear as a point and it will not be visible, right? So it needs some width and height. Now I think the width should be heading labels width plus some extra width, let's say 40, for some padding, and the height will be heading, just a minute, will be heading label height plus let's say 20. Now let's try to run this application. Yeah, if you see it's fully white, like that's because the RGBA value is 1. This is what I was telling. If I set it to 0, now if you run it, no rectangle is visible, right? I'll like explain to you this part again very slowly. But let's say I set it to zero point 0.2, so it will be slightly visible and white, right? Now let's see. Yeah, this is visible. Now if you like, if I zoom it and if you see more closely, the rectangles are sharp. Their corners need to be a bit rounded, right? So I'll say radius. This is how you round the corners, and let's say radius of 10. So it will be slightly curved along the corners, right? Let's try to run it. See, there is some slight curve around the corners, right? Now let me slowly explain what happened, right? See, this is the window, this is the rectangle, right? Initially I am setting it to a color of white. with zero point 0.2 opacity, or let's say 80% transparent. I think that is more like clear to you. 80% transparent, like it will be visible, but very like less, like there will be very less opacity, or it will be almost transparent, right? Now inside this there will be some text, right? Now what should be the width and the height of the rectangle? I am saying, hey, whatever is the text size, give it some more width. Like let's say the width of this text plus 40 is the width of the rectangle, and the height of the text plus let's say 20 is the height of the rectangle. This is what I've done. Let's see. Width is the width of the label plus 40, and the height of the rectangle is the height of this text label plus 20, and some radius. Now let's go back to this text. I hope this is simple. There is a text, there is a color. It's centered with respect to the rectangle. It has some size and it's bold. Now let's see. This was our target application, and just a minute. Let's see. This is the target application, and this is our application. If you see, like the I think 25 is too large. Let's make it 20. Right. Let's make it a bit smaller. Yeah, this is fine. Right. Now if you see, all the text is in uppercase, right? All the text is capitalized, right? Here it's not capitalized, right? Like all the characters are not uppercase. To do that, like if you want to achieve that, one way is to capitalize all of this manually. The other is to use a property. Let's say font dot capitalization, and let's click on it and press F1. Now, uh, not capitalization, just like all uppercase. Let's see what this does. Let's try to run it once. Okay, like I think there should be a property in font which like capitalizes everything, right? Just a minute. Hmm. No, it's not. I think it's not text format. I'll get back to this one. Like I forgot. Like there was a property to like capitalize the font, like, or we can just do a Google search. Yeah, this one I think. Yeah, this one font of capitalization. Yeah, like you have to like Google for this. The documentation still doesn't have all the properties like listed. Yeah, there's something called font dot uppercase, and like if you want to convert everything to uppercase, it will you have to use this one, right? Now let's see it. Yeah, now I think it's decent enough, right? Yep. So now that we have done with the header part, now if you see, we also need a body, right? The other rectangle, it's in the center of the window, and it has a value and two buttons, right? It has a value and two buttons. So first let's build the rectangle, right? If this video is too long, like I'll break it into two parts. Let's first build the rectangle, and I'll just copy all of these properties. it should be in the center of the window. So I'll say anchors dot center in parent. I hope anchors is clear to you and there's no need for any margin. The color should be the same, like with some opacity. And let's say the width is let's say the width is 100, and let's say the height is, let's say the height is 7, let's say the height is 100 and the width is 200, right? Let's try it. Just a minute. Okay, my bad. Like, sorry, this rectangle was the title part, right? So my rectangle will be below this. Like I hope you got the mistake. Like this was the title part, right? The heading part. So this rectangle is different. That work is done. Now we are going to the center of the, like, we are done with this title. Now we are at the center, right? So we are starting fresh. Let's see now. This is too small. Like I need more width. Let's say 400 and height of 200. Let's see now. I think this is good enough, right? Yeah, good enough. Now we are done with this rectangle. Also, we need some radius, right? So that the corners are not so sharp. Now we are done with the radius. I think now we need this, like, number, right? A number. Obviously, for a number also we need a label. So we'll give a label, and the text will be initially 0. We'll, like, build two buttons and then modify this text later. Now obviously this will be on the top with some margin. Let's say a top margin of 20, right? And let's give it a font point size of 18 and make it bold, right? And let's see. I hope this part is clear to you. Like we are, like, only adding a text with the initial value of 0. Okay, I have to horizontal center it, right? Yeah, let's see now. I think it's good enough. Like, let's add some top margin of this 40, and now let's start building the buttons. I hope the video is not too long. Like, bear with me. We are almost done, right? Yeah, yeah. I think we are good enough. Like, make it 35 or so. Yeah. Now let's try to build the button. If you observe in the application, these buttons are side by side, right? And we have discussed, if you, like, want something to be side by side in a window, we need something called a row, right? So we'll be using a row component. I hope you guys remember the concept of a row. So now we'll be using a row, and we will be giving we'll be centering it with the respect to the parent, and we'll be giving some spacing of, let's say, 20. Now inside the row, if you see, there are two buttons. Now I can build these buttons in two ways. Like, I can make it a rectangle, and inside that there will be a text. But there is a QML property called button, right? So I'll be using that. By the way, if button does not work, you have to import this Qt quick controls, right? Uh, I hope you guys, like, are getting this. Like, we have to import Qt quick controls, right? So now I think I should add a video, like, describing this part. So first, let's add two buttons. The first button will be decrement, like, insert text of decrement, and this also should have a text called increment. Now the buttons should have some padding. This padding does not work with buttons, right? So you have to give individual paddings. Like, let's say left of 15, right? I'll tell you what padding is. Right of 15 or 20. top of 10 and bottom of 10. Now uh, let's add a signal. Now no, first let me like tell you what this padding is, right? I'll copy paste this for this also. Let's first see what this is, right? Yeah, obviously this is not looking so good right now, but as you can see, like if I remove the padding from this, you'll see the button becomes like very small without any space. Yeah, so I hope you got what padding is. Let's say this is a text, like let's say we have a text called hi, right? And you want, and the button will initially be like this, but you want the button to have some space, like this is hi, this should be some space, there should be some space here, here and here. Now this is called padding, right? Now you should not be confused between padding and margin. Both are different. Let's say this is a rectangle, this is another rectangle. Now margin applies only outside of this, like if this is a rectangle, if you want there should, like if you want some space to be between this rectangle and the outside one, then use margin. But let's say this is a rectangle and there is some text inside it, so for some space between this and the inside component, we use padding. Like for, like let's say this is a rectangle. Okay, let me take a bigger example. If you want more space between these two, use padding. If you want more space between these two, use margin. When you are at this rectangle, like when you are at this rectangle, if you want more space between this outside part, use margin. When you want this space between this inside part, use padding, right? I hope this is clear. Now I'll uncomment this part, right? And if you see, this is not looking that good, right? So obviously for a button there is something called text, and there should be also something called background. Now the background will be a rectangle, and you have guessed it, we'll just copy paste everything. This color, the background should be filling the button, the color should be this, right? And yeah, I think there should be some radius, I think of, let's say 10, I guess. Yeah, what we are basically doing is, let's see, now there is a button, right? And this is a white background. Like we are saying, hey, don't use the default background, let me use mine, right? And this is my background, a rectangle which fills the parent size, and it has a opacity color, like a white color with some transparency and some border radius, right? Now let's try to run this one. You will see some errors occurring here. I'll tell you how to like overcome this error. Yeah, but I think this is still like a bit bad. See, there are some errors occurring here. Like to, like they're saying like, hey, the current style does not support customization. So it's better to give it some default style. Like let's say we are importing material. If you just say like material, see, this is this, what this does is it gives some style to all the elements, and then you can override the default styles, right? Let's just say like, to like style this button manually by yourself, you need to add a existing style at first, right? Now obviously I need to change a few things. First, uh, this number, it should have a color of white, right? Second thing, this increment and decrement should also be white. This color should also be white. Now this is a problem, you cannot change the color as it is. For this also you need something called content item, and This is nothing but the content which has to be written inside this button. Like, I know this is a bit overwhelming, but see, initially this was the button with some text, right? You're saying, hey, I don't like the style of this button. I like give a manual background. Now I also want the text to be manual, right? So for that, in the button, this is called the content item. Whatever text should be written, or if you want to add an image inside the button, right? Whatever is the content, for that there is a property called content item. And for the background part, there is a property called background, right? So for the background part, this is the property. For the text or the image, anything you want to add inside the button, this is the property content item. Let's set it as label, which is way better than text. The text will be decrement, and the color will be, let's say, white, and the font size, let's say, is 15, right? Let's exactly copy paste it, but this time the text will be, this is decrement, so this is increment. Phew. Let's see. Yeah, I think this is doable. I think centering was not a good idea. Like, it's too congested. Let's say give it a bottom of parent dot bottom, and give it some bottom margin instead of, let's say, 50. I hope you are getting what I'm doing, right? Like, if this is the row, not a row, I think. Yeah, let's say this is the rectangle. Here's the number. This is a row, and these are two items, and we are like setting it from the bottom and not from in the center, to give it some space. Okay, 50 is not good, so let's give it 20, and set the horizontal center also. I hope you guys are not confused, right? I know this is a bit tough, but once you like solve, or once you like build two or three projects, like, you will become very good at this. Let's give it 35. Yeah, I think this is good enough, right? Yeah. Okay, so if you see, nothing happens when we click the button, right? Now, whenever we click the button, there is something called a signal, right? Like, let's say this is a button, right? When you click on it, a signal fires. That signal is called on clicked. Now, when you catch or when you use this signal, you can like perform any operation, right? So there is a signal called on clicked. When you click on the button, this signal is fired, and when this is fired, you can like perform any operation you want. Right now, what I want to do is I want to give it an ID of, let's say, number value, and I want to increase the value. Number value dot, see, this label has an ID of number value. To access it, I'm using number value dot, and I want to access the text. So I'll say number value dot text is equal to number value dot text plus 1. No, this is decrement, so I'll say minus 1. The same thing here, right? I'll say plus 1. But if you look carefully, this is a string, right? So performing plus and minus on string is very fatal. Like, you should not do that. So for that, I'll like convert from string to a number using a function called number, right? This is a JavaScript function. It converts the string to a number. So I'll convert this string, which is number value dot text, to a number first, then add or subtract, and then set it again. Let's try to run it once. and if you see, it's working properly. Now, I know this was a very tough project, right? But I hope you guys like could build something practical. In the next video, I'm thinking of no, I guess I'll like okay, I'll either build a API for finding the weather, or I could like go further and teach you guys about lists, and like we can build a to-do app. Like I'll think about it, right? So anyway, thank you for watching, and if you guys are with me so far, like congratulations. Qt is really difficult to learn, but like once you master it, it's easier than JavaScript. Honestly, like it's easier than web development. I can confidently say it. I'll also like teach you guys later, like in one or two videos next, how to deploy this application, like building it like a standalone application. So there will be an exe file, and if you double click it, this application will run. Right. Anyway, thank you for watching. Have a nice day and take care.